Hello everybody. So today we're going to be covering lesson 7.8, divide by 8, on page 295 of the third grade textbook. The essential question you should be able to answer by the end of the lesson is, what strategies can you use to divide by 8? So let's look at the unlock the problem. At Stephen's camping store, firewood is sold in bundles of 8 logs. He has 32 logs to put in bundles. How many bundles of firewood can he make? And so the little clue box tells us, what will Stephen do with the 32 logs? Well, it says he's going to put them in bundles of 8. I'm going to make bundles of 8 logs. And so how many bundles of firewood can he make? So we have 32 logs that we need to share into groups of 8. So one way, and we haven't talked about this in a while, but use repeated subtraction. So division basically means repeated subtraction, right? We've talked about that. So we're going to start with 32, and because we're putting them in groups of 8, we're going to subtract 8 until we reach 0. And then we're going to count the number of times we subtracted 8. So if we take 32 and we put one bundle of 8, that leaves us with 24 logs. So now we're going to put another group of 8 logs, and 24 take away 8. Well, I can't take 8 from 4, so I can regroup the two 10s as 1 10 and 10 1. So now I have 14 ones. And 14 take away 8. Well, 8 and 2 is 10. 10 and 4 is 14, so 6. And then 1 take away nothing is 16. So now we're at 16. We still have 16 logs to share in bundles of 8. And 16 take away 8. We know that that's 8. And now we have 8 left. And that means we can make one more bundle of 8. And we have no more logs to put in bundles. So how many times did we subtract 8? We subtracted 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So we subtracted 8 4 times, so he can make 4 bundles of firewood. And that division problem that we were solving, he had 32 logs total. He's going to put them in groups of 8. How many groups does he have? He has 4 groups of 8. So 32 divided by 8 equals 4. Now another way, and we've used this several times in this chapter, is use a related multiplication fact. So let's just talk about multiplication of 8s. Okay, so you should know your 8s by memory, okay, at this point of third grade. And so if we say, you should be able to say 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32, 8 times 5 is 40, 8 times 6 is 48, 8 times 7 is 56, 8 times 8 is 64, 8 times 9, 72, 8 times 10, 80, 8 times 11, 88, 8 times 12, 96. Okay, so if we were doing that, then we'd look at 32 divided by 8. That's the same as saying some number times 8, or 8 times some number is 32. Well, 8 times 4 was 32. So if 4 times 8 is 32, then 32 divided by 8 is 4. Okay. All right, and we can find the unknown divisor using a multiplication table. So Stephen has a log that is 16 feet long. If he cuts the log into pieces that are 2 feet long, how many pieces will Stephen have? So our problem is 16 divided by something is 2. So it's asking us how many pieces of 2 does he have? We can use a multiplication table to find the divisor in a division problem. Think, what number times 2 is 16? So find the factor 2 in the top row of the multiplication table. So I found 2. Now look down to 16, because we know it's 2 times something is 16. Now look to the left to find the unknown factor, 8. So the unknown factor is 8. So 8 times 2 equals 16. 8 times 2 is 16. So they check. The equation is true. So he will have 8 pieces of 2. All right. So that's one way you can also use the multiplication table to find an unknown divisor. Now use repeated subtraction to find 24 divided by 8. Well, they've done the subtraction for us. So how many times did they subtract? Well, 1, 2, 3. So 24 divided by 8 is 3. Now find the unknown factor and quotient. So they're giving us a multiplication problem and a division problem. So 8 times what is 56? So again, we really should know our 8s. So if we said 1 times 8 is 8. 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3, 24. 8 times 4, 32. 8 times 5, 40. 8 times 6, 48. 8 times 7, 56. Okay, so I can stop there because 8 times 7 is 56. If 8 times 7 is 56, 56 divided by 8 is 7, because they are related facts. What number times 8 is 40? Well, we did that. 8 times 5. So 5 times 8 is 40. And 40 divided by 8 is 5. Okay, so find the quotient 18 divided by 3. Well, let's go ahead and practice repeated subtraction in this lesson. So we have 18, and we're going to divide by 3. So 18 take away 3 is 15. 15 take away 3. Why am I repeatedly subtracting 3? Because I'm dividing by 3. 15 take away 3 is 12. 12 take away 3 is 9. 9 take away 3 is 6. 6 take away 3 is 3. And 3 take away 3 is 0. So we subtracted 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. All right, 48 divided by 8. Well, let's repeatedly subtract 8. All right, so I subtract 8 once, and I have 40. 40 take away 8. Well, I can't take 8 from nothing, so let's regroup the 4 tens as 3 tens and 10 ones. 10 take away 8 is 2, so 32. All right, now 32 take away 8. I can't take 8 from 2, so regroup the 3 as 2 tens and 10 ones. We now have 12 ones. 12 take away 8 is 4, so we're now at 24. 24 take away 8. Again, I can't take 8 from 4, so I'll regroup the 2 tens as 1 10 and 10 ones. We now have 14 ones. 14 take away 8 is 6, so we have 16. 16 take away 8 is 8, and 8 take away 8 is 0. How many times did we subtract 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So 48 divided by 8 is 6. 56 divided by 7. Well, I can use any of the strategies that we've talked about in this lesson so far. We can use a related multiplication fact. We can say 7 times what is 56. I can repeatedly subtract 7. But I recognize those two numbers. They're part of this fact family. 7 times what is 56? Well, that's just the commutative property. They've just switched the order of the 7 and the 8. So 7 times 8 is 56. So 56 divided by 7 is 8. And 32 divided by 8. Okay, so we can subtract 8. Repeated subtraction. Can't take 8 from 2. So we'll regroup. And now we have 2 tens and 12 ones. 12 take away 8 is 4, so 24. 24 take away 8, can't take 8 from 4. So we'll regroup, and now we have 110 and 14 ones. 14 take away 8 is 6. So now we have 16. 16 take away 8 is 8. And 8 take away 8 is 0. How many times did we subtract 8? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 32 divided by 8 is 4. All right. So 297. 8 times what is 8? 8 divided by 8 is 1. Well, here we know that any number divided by itself is 1. So if these are related facts, 8 times 1 is 8. Some number times 5 is 35. Okay, so 5 times 1, 5. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 4, 20. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 6, 30. 5 times 7, 35. All right, so 7 times 5 is 35. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 6 times what is 18? Well, 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And 6 times 3 is 18. So 6 times 3 is 18. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 8 times what is 72? 72 divided by 8 is what? Let's see. Well, 8 times 10 is 80. If I took 8 away from 80, that would be 72, right? So 8 times 9 is 72. And that makes sense because we know that if I multiply 9, the number I multiply 9 by, the product will be 1 less than what I multiply by. So 9 times 8. So remember, we don't have to start at 8 times 1 and work all the way up. We can start with something we know, and you should know 8 times 10. Okay, that's an easy one. And so we can go backwards. Okay, start with something that's close to that number. 28 divided by 4. Okay, well, if we're going to practice subtracting, repeated subtraction, 28 take away 4, 28 take away 4 is 24. 24 take away 4 is 20. 20 take away 4 is 16. 16 take away 4 is 12. 12 take away 4 is 8. 8 take away 4 is 4. And 4 take away 4 is 0. How many times did we subtract 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times. 42 divided by 7. Well, that's the same as saying 7 times what is 42, right? 7 times what is 42? Well, I know 7 times 5 is 35. So if I add one more set of 7, that would be 42. 35 plus 7 is 42. So 7 times 6. So 42 divided by 7 is 6. Any number divided by itself is 1. 28 divided by 7. Well, if you look here, we have two of the same numbers, right? So 28 divided by 7 is related to 28 divided by 4. So 28 divided by 7 is 4, because 7 times 4 is 28. 0 divided by 8. 0 divided by anything is 0. 24 divided by 6. Well, that's again saying the same thing as 6 times what? 6 times what is 24? 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 64 divided by 8. Well, we said 8 times 10 was 80, and 8 times 9 was 72. What's 72 take away 8? 64. Okay, so 8 times 8 is 64. 8 divided by 1. 8. If I have 8, like 8 fish, and I only have one fishbowl, all 8 have to go in that fishbowl. 72 divided by something is 9. 9 times any factor, the tens place in that product will be 1 less than what I multiply by. So I know that this has to be 8. 9 times 8 is 72. Some number divided by 8 is 2. Well, this is the same as saying 8 times 2. If I have 2 8s, I have 16. 64 divided by what is 8? 64 divided by what? So we could use our multiplication table. 64 divided by something is 8. Okay, so find 8 in the multiplication table. Go down to 64. Look to the left, and that tells you the missing divisor, 8. Some number divided by 8 is 10. Well, that's the same as saying 8 times 10 is what? And well, 8 times 10 is 80. 80 divided by 10. 80 divided by 8 is 10. Some number divided by 2 is 10. Okay, well, that's 2 times 10. 2 times 10 equals 20. 40 divided by something is 8. Let's go back up to our multiplication table. Let's find 8. Go down to 40. Look to the left, and we see that the divisor should be 5. So 40 divided by 5 is 8. I'm just going to write myself a note that I used the multiplication table for that. 25 divided by something is 5. Okay, well, find 5 in the multiplication table. Go down to 25. Look to the left, and we notice that is 5. Okay, so 25 divided by 5 is 5. 54 divided by what is 9? So we can find the missing divisor by going to 9, go down to 54, look to the left, and we see that it's 6. So 54 divided by 6 equals 9. All right, write a problem that can be solved by using one of the division facts above. Okay, well, we're going to be solved by using one of the division facts above. I'm going to use 23. All right, so this is what I've come up with. So we need to find the dividend. We have to find the total number of strawberries that, in this case, that's what I'm using, the number of strawberries that this person purchased. She put 10 strawberries on each of 8 plates. So that would represent some number, m, divide by 8 equals 10. Okay. All right. So on 29 through 31, use the addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division operation symbols. So we know that an equal sign means that whatever's on the left side has to equal what's on the right-hand side. So 6 times 6, I know 6 times 5 is 30. So 6 times 6 is 36. So 36 is equal to 32 what to 4? Well, if I add 4 to 32, that's 36. Okay, so that's a fairly simple one. So 32 plus 4 is equal to 36. 12 and some operation with 3 equals 19 take away 15. Well, 19 take away 15. 9 take away 5 is 4. All right, so 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 does not equal 4. If I subtract 12 take away 3, that's 9. 9 does not equal 4. 12 times 3, 3 12s. That's 12 plus 12 is 24. Oh, no, no. So it's got to be division. That's the only thing left. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. That's true. All right, and 40 divided by 8. Well, 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, so 5 equals 35 plus 7? 35 plus 7, that would be 42. No, 5 does not equal 42. Subtraction, 35 take away 7. That's 28. No. Multiplication, no, definitely not, right? 7 35s, there's no way that can equal 5. So it's got to be division. 35 divided by 7 is 5. All right, now on page 298, use the table for 32 and 33. So let's see if we can understand the table first before we even look at the problem. So we have tent sizes. We have 3 different types of tents. And these are the number of people we have. We have 10 people, 8 people, and 4 people. All right. So there are 32 people who plan to camp over the weekend. Describe 2 different ways the campers can sleep using 4 tents. Well, that's kind of saying 32 divided by 8, right? I'm sorry, 32 divided by 4. There's only 4 tents, not 8 tents. 32 divided by 4. Let's make an array out of that. Okay, so I make a row of 4. That represents my 4 tents. And then each time I add to that, that's the number of people in the tent. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. So 4 tents with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Oh, well, okay, so we could have the Vista tents, right? They fit 8 people. So let's see, we could have 4 Vista tents because 4 times 8 equals 32. What's another way we could do it? Let's see. Got to get to 32. What if I did 10 plus 10? That would be 20 people, right? So that would be one cabin tent, a second cabin tent. That's 20. And now we would need 12 more. Oh, well, I see that 8 and 4 equals 12. So we could do 20 plus 8. Now we're at 28. And so that would be adding in a Vista tent. And we could add 4 more with the trail tent. That would be 32. So let's see. We could you could use 2 cabin tents, 1 Vista tent, and 1 trail tent. Okay, because that 4 tents. 2 cabin tents, 1 Vista tent, and 1 trail tent. That's 4 tents. Okay. 33. There are 36 people camping at Max's family reunion. They have cabin tents and Vista tents. How many of each type of tent do they need to sleep exactly 36 people if each tent is filled? And explain. All right, so we have 36 people. How many cabin tents and Vista tents? So we're only using these 2. Oh, sorry. We're only using cabin and Vista tents, and we need to get to 36. Well, if we use 3 cabin tents, that would be 30 plus 8. That's 38. So no, that's too many because the tents are full. So 8 times 2 is 16. I think we're onto something there. 8 times, okay, so if we use 2 Vista tents, that would be 2 times 8, which is 16. 36, take away 16, leaves me 20. Is there a tent that we can put 20 people in? Well, not 1 tent, but we could put 2 cabin tents, right? 2 cabin tents would be 2 times 10, which is 20. You add those up, that's 36 people. So 2 Vista tents. There may be other ways of doing it, but this one definitely works. And 2 cabin tents. 2 Vista tents would hold 16 people, and 2 cabin tents would hold 20 people. 16 plus 20 equals 36. Okay. In fact, as I'm looking at this, oh no, just for cabin and just and the cabin. That may be the only way of doing it. 34. Josh is dividing 64 bags of trail mix equally among 8 campers. How many bags of trail mix will each camper get? So this is 64 divided by 8 groups or 8 people equals how much? How many bags of trail mix will each camper get? Okay, well, what's 64 divided by 8? 8 times what is 64? 8 times 5. 8 fives is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 40. Okay, so that's a starting point. So 8 times 5, 40. 8 times 6, we're going to add 8 to 40. Now we're at 48. 8 times 7, 56. 8 times 8, 56 plus 8 is 64. Okay, so 8 bags of trail mix. Eight campers, 8 bags, 64 bags of trail mix. And 35. Circle the unknown factor and quotient. 8 times something equals 48. Well, we just did that right here. 8 times 6 is 48. So 48 divided by 8 has to be 6. Right, so that's it for dividing by 8. The next time we get together, we'll be practicing dividing by 9. So until then, may the numbers always be in your favor.